The most important hour of your week is the consultation, the intro. That's like your money hour, okay? You only get one chance to make that first impression. I know you've heard that before, but it's super important if you're looking to build, a successful, profitable, cash flowing school. So your intro slash consultation, I go on a lot about this in my book, and make sure you've invested in a copy of that. £13 on Amazon. I'll obviously show a copy at the end if you haven't got one, but your intro is where you need to put your best foot forward. You need to make sure you, and if you've got a team, are really bringing the rate game there, okay? Your school needs to be clean and tidy. You need to come across professional. Everybody needs to be on point. So again, this all boils down to team training though. And again, I know probably on this YouTube channel there's another video on team training, but just remember this. One of my great mentors used to say this, and I think I can't remember who he got it from, but lots of people think, well, imagine if we train them and then they leave. Which, yeah, I'd agree with that, but all businesses have to suffer that. Okay, I imagine if we train them, then they open up on their own. But flip it the other way, and this is the more devastating way. Imagine if we don't train them and then they stay. Okay, so that's a really, clear mindset you need to have. Of course, investing in your team is crucial to your success and to the business growth. But an intro, your consultation should be a massive part of that team training rota that you do. So let's talk about some of the things now that we probably take for granted as martial artists that non-martial artists, when walking into your schools, it will feel completely alien. So first of all, there's likely to be lots of bows to each other, okay? Bow to the instructor, bowing on and off the mats, bowing to your partner and so on, bowing several times throughout the lesson. People are in barefoot, okay? People are wearing, different types of uniforms, so different types of gear there. So it's not your traditional like sports like shorts and a t-shirt and that type of thing. There's often lots of kiais, lots of shouts during the lesson. So you've got to make sure, again, you've probably been teaching now for a number of years, you're probably involved in your art for a number of years. So many things that you take for, not even take for granted, but you know, that you've done thousands of times or tens of thousands of times are completely new and alien to new people. So, what would be a bad experience? That would be a good one. A bad experience would be your doors are closed. You turn up late. You don't really speak to them. You just throw them into a lesson. You don't fill out a health and safety form. You don't book the second lesson. You don't really put a training instructor with them. You're not spending time with them. You're just trying to hope they stay. Try and keep up. You hope that they come back for a second lesson. You don't call them the day before the intro to check they're still coming down, the day of the intro to check. You don't send them any follow-up text afterwards with a link to videos on your website. So those are some of the bad things. Again, I haven't got like a printout of everything here on bad experience. So those are things from my head. So you need to make sure, if you're flipping it round, of course you need to be open. Your school needs to be presentable. You need to make sure that the approach, the entrance, is clean and tidy. There isn't rubbish scattered around your doors, on the path, on the pavement, whatever. You need to make sure that your bins are empty in your school. You need to make sure, again, that there's enough toilet paper. Small things, these, but again, they all count up. There's enough toilet paper in your toilets. You need to make sure that the toilets, and if you've got change rooms, are clean and tidy. You need to make sure that it smells nice. So again, yes, it is a martial arts environment, but you only get one chance to make a first impression. So if this is the money hour, you need to make sure that the parents, prospective parents, are coming in and having a good first impression, okay? Because it'll add up to then another system is you gathering lots of 5-star reviews on Google and so on, lots of victory notes, lots of video testimonials for your program, and it's all going to start from that first tangible experience when they walk through your school. The lesson, again, please don't throw them into one of your normal lessons. Give one of your junior black belts or your junior brown belts, have them stood in front of them, just hoping that they follow in line. Of course, that's better than nothing, but it's still, a terrible experience if you're wanting them to enroll. If you are wanting them to enroll, I'd make sure that they're taking part in their own intro. It could be a semi-private, it could be a one-on-one, it could be a semi-private, so maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people booked in there as well, so that they're all doing the same thing. Don't try and bombard them with all of your syllabus. Well, now we'll do kicking combinations, now we'll do stance work, here's a little bit of kata, here's a little bit of self-defense, here's some pad work, and all that type of thing. You just need to make sure you teach them basics of basics of what they will do on their next lesson. So again, they're not so much rabbit in the headlights in the next lesson. You need to make sure that you and or your team are speaking to the parents beforehand, definitely introducing yourself. Eye level is bi level, shaking the hand, making sure that they're filling out a health and safety form. You need to know if they've got any asthma or anything like that you need to be aware of, or any other medical conditions the way you need to chop and change slightly the format of the lesson. You of course want to try and get parents involved, but I'll mention that on another video. So yeah, there's so many things to that intro lesson. It's not just that they come in, they bow onto the mats, you teach them. I'm going to go down a karate thing here now. You're not just going to teach them reverse punch and thrust, front kick, down block, rising block, and then that's it. You need to make sure you're teaching them a couple of things. But that first lesson is about them having fun, of course, but the first lesson is about you getting across to the parents how valuable your tuition is, how valuable your program is, how much of a positive impact this is going to have on their child's life. If not, you're just going to fall into the seasonal recreational sport, the sports club type of thing, or the normal type of part-time club where they just do teach kicks and punches. Now again, I'm not saying not to teach kicks and punches, whatever your art is, but you as a business owner want to get across to your parents in the first lesson and any materials you've sent to them beforehand, and the second lesson how valuable your program is and how much it is better than, you know, Uncle Bob's place round the corner that teaches karate on a Wednesday night, and it's a fiver a lesson and you don't need a suit, you can just do what you want. So I wanted this video really to come across, hopefully it has, that the intro slash consultation is your money hour. That's where you're going to make or break your school. Because imagine if you've got 10 people booked in a week and only one turns back up for the second lesson, that's a trigger that 90% of the people didn't enjoy it, and you're doing something massively wrong in that first lesson for them not to want to come back for a second, let me quote it, free lesson. Okay? So if you haven't already done so, there's a massive section in this book. Obviously, it's my book there, How to Build a Highly Profitable School. Please invest in a copy. It's £13 off Amazon. You can't get it off my website yet. So maybe get to Amazon and invest in a copy. I will guarantee that there's 330 pages there, not of fluff, definitely not, of important information for you on how to build a cash flowing, profitable, professional school where you want your students to massively improve under your tuition. So yeah, invest in a copy of that. Again, I help my mentees out with how to build a school, and looking at all different elements. So I could make this video a lot longer than it is. It's probably 4, 5, 6 minutes. I don't know. However, I can waffle on a little bit. But if you are serious, then get in touch. Okay, contact me through email hello@dervishdervish.com. That's the wrong website. That I will get round to doing it again without sounding big headed or anything. The mentoring side of things is just one part of the thing that I do. Okay, so I mentor property investors as well. I'm an active property investor myself. So this really is a little bit of me giving back to the martial artist, because over 20 years ago when I first started out, there wasn't really much around. There was definitely no decent books around, or I think even any books on how to run a successful school. So yeah, I'm just trying to help out. And for anybody that's serious, that knows that they've got that continual improvement mindset and that wants to get better, then get in touch. Hopefully we're a good fit for each other, and we'll see about taking your school to unbelievable levels. But in the meantime though, invest in a copy of that, find out more about how I built up a very successful single school, and then let's go for it. Please subscribe to this channel. All the best everybody, and again, I hope you benefit from this. Take care. All the best.